and didn't age well.
Okay, here we go. Now we're now live. All right, so hey, welcome
Hey guys.
welcome to AM Comics and Coffee with Brett, Matt, and Tank, and that was the most. And I chose that because I thought it was a clever name because, it's really good branding. I mean, it's in the morning. Why not talk about comics while you're having your morning coffee?
It's noon here.
Well, it's I'm on the West Coast. It's the only times Pacific times time is the only time that matters.
Yeah. So,
And by the way, guys, if in case you're wondering, Tank is in the call. He will not be speaking as he has come down with something really bad, but he will be in the chat. And either Matt or I will read out what he says.
That we will.
Yeah.
So, topics for today.
Well, I guess do we want to do the pedantic thing and talk about how much we miss Stan Lee? I mean, I did a whole episode on that on my podcast last night.
Yeah, but we didn't really talk about it. So, between the three of us.
Yeah. Well, it's still that shadow's still pretty well over our heads, so I guess you can't not talk about it for now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what I can say, which won't sound like I'll be repeating myself, other than I say that it sucks that Stan Lee's gone. We all knew it was going to come someday, but it doesn't hurt any less. And he was a one of a kind. The impact he had on comics cannot be overstated enough, and he can't be replaced. There's never going to be another Stan Lee.
Joked about how we're going to be the next Stan Lee.
It's a joke, man. But of course it's a joke. But dude, I mean, like, it's true. You can't replace him.
You really can't. And there are so many people out there who legitimately think that they can replace him.
Seriously? Tank says we don't need a new Stan. He did his part. Now he can rest. And I agree every bit.
I agreed.
Honestly, who would be so pompous enough to think they could replace Stan Lee?
I mean, they couldn't replace him at Marvel. You see what's going on right there.
Oh yeah, Tom Brevoort had such a great take. He was the best editor, and even though he's gone, there were people who did his thing better than he did.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that fucking toolbox still works at Marvel.
What do you expect from a guy who who called his own son an asshole for voting differently than him?
Sure.
Yeah, but...
Yeah. By the way, Tank says now it's our turn for Jerome Path. Also true. No lie detected.
Nope. I think that whole thing of Tom Brevoort was to show how bad things are at Marvel, where they think that they can do how they think. You there, Brett?
Yeah, I'm the one who lost to you. What were you trying to say?
Oh well, that's weird. But it just goes to show you how bad things are at Marvel over there. They think they're better than Stan Lee.
No. Mm-mm. You want to know something? Tom Brevoort not even fit to polish Stan's shoes.
Look, he's not even fit to be in the same room as Stan Lee.
Thank God he never was.
I mean, how much does it, what does it tell you that Dan Slott had a better message than Tom Brevoort?
Fuck, Tara Reid had a better eulogy for him than Tom Brevoort.
Yeah, but
Fuck, even Shadman showed more respect to Stan than Tom Brevoort. No joke. No freaking joke. Someone tweeted at Shadman, "Hey, can we get a Rule 34 stand now that he's dead?" He said, "No, let him rest." Talk about shit you would never have expected.
well, to be honest, that did leave it open for him to do it later.
True, but you know what? At least this time, Shadman actually showed some class.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
Well, can you imagine how bad things are if he's saying it and not Tom Brevoort?
Yeah. Oh, God. Like I said, I think I'm kind of with Dan more or less, and our Dan, not Slot. Yeah. That I would consider being able to work at Marvel. Like, I am just looking at a dumpster fire in my notifications on Twitter, says Tank.
Oh boy.
Oh, that must be fun. Yeah, I would. But yeah, if I was working at Marvel, I'd consider that a badge of shame. Well, me with my current mindset, and of course, it's the fucking war campaign. Do these guys have nothing to do?
No, they don't. All they do is LARP. I would have figured they'd. Silly me. Did you lose me again?
No, I didn't. It's just like I was trying. I just kind of spaced out there for a second. Just guys, like, there was like we got a smoking gun of these assholes saying he was gonna mass report Sashi, and then I just saw John Della Rose tweet that they're going after Pope Fire now.
It's all a vicious cycle. I just blocked the assholes.
Yeah, more people should. And what other group does that? Oh, I can definitely name one, but unfortunately that hasn't been sticking.
SJWs?
I was gonna say TRS.
Yeah.
Like the same. Sure, the war campaign may not be LARPing as neo-Nazis, but they're doing the exact same thing TRS did to the alt-right. Same kind of tone policing, same kind of LARPing. I mean, and in fact, TRS is I think is a lot to blame for chasing the sane people out of the alt-right, which I know, blasphemy to say. But there was a time when the alt-right was kind of legit. A brief time, but a time nonetheless.
Yeah. It happened.
Well, Tank, when the alt-right was legit, it was them criticizing the status quo of the right wing. They wanted it was something that was more PaleoCon, Pat Buchanan style. Well, not this fucking Nazi LARPing.
Of course, it all changed when Richard Spencer hijacked it.
You want to know something? Do I know where Spencer got the name alt-right from?
Where?
His mentor, Paul Gottfried. A fucking Jew.
Oh, the irony.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when they were, when the alt right was more about like the second coming. I'm gonna have Pat Buchanan. Well, I say that just because I like Pat Buchanan and I like his politics. And
Apparently, so did Florida back in 2000.
And I unironically think nobody has deserved to be president more than Pat. Yeah. But yeah, when it was more like that, that's when it was good. When guys like Spencer and Mike Enoch and Chris Cantwell became and Grinder Greg Johnson became the faces, that's when it went off the rails.
Yeah. So, are we going to be the new Bob Jones and talk about politics?
I don't want to. It's a
I'm actually going to step in here. No, please don't. We've already got enough politics on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a drag to talk about it.
Oh man. But so
I shall be the gruff voice of reason.
That works.
Yep. So the Russo brothers are continuing on with their Mark Ruffalo has been fired gag.
Okay, gag as a. I need this explained for me, please.
Okay, so basically, Mark Ruffalo is one of the two that's well known for accidentally leaking spoilers because of his big mouth. So he made a joke on Twitter one day about how something happened in Infinity War, which the Russo brothers replied on in a tweet, "Mark, you're fired." And so it's always been a running gag now that say that Mark Ruffalo's been fired. And recently, they were asked about how if they're going to have a moment between him and Tom Holland, who is also a leaker of scripts. The bartender interrupted and said, "Didn't you guys fire Mark Ruffalo?" And they laughed and said, "Yeah, we did."
But they didn't actually. You said it's a gag, so they didn't act. So they haven't. No, he's not actually fired.
Nope.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he has a bunch of edgy tweets about pedophilia that we don't know about yet.
Oh boy, I hope not.
Seems like everyone in Hollywood has some sort of secret.
You have no fucking idea.
That seems to be how they're easily controlled.
And that works a little bit better.
Yeah, now you sound like South African Jason Statham.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, just some water and until the throat dries out again, and then I'm going to go completely off rails again. Yeah, so I apologize in advance.
All right.
No, it's the doctor is going to be pretty much nuking my immune system with antibiotics.
Oh boy, that's fun.
I have never gotten You said you got pneumonia, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. I've got upper respiratory tract infection, which, if not treated, can lead to pneumonia. If I had pneumonia, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in the hospital.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've never had that, much less pneumonia, and I cannot imagine it's fun. Because the worst I've ever had to deal with was a fever earlier in the year where I was just bedridden for like 3 days. And I was too weak to eat. But yes, by the way, Merlin, yes, really says, "Woo, handsome Ron," and hey guys.
Nah.
Hey, Merlin.
Yeah, like I said, that's probably one of the worst cases of the flu I've had in years. Because I could not get up. I was confined to my couch in the living room, and I couldn't even muster the strength to eat.
So I'm taking a look at trending on Twitter. Now, obviously, this is tailored for my country. But Still, international trends are the Video Game Awards or the Game Awards, which they're talking about. This sounds like could be a potential dumpster fire. If Facebook could talk.
Oh, big dumpster fire.
Here's what I got: World Kindness # World Kindness Day, Amazon, Nashville, Crystal City, # Fallout 76, # Tuesday Thoughts, Jill Scott, Dave Grohl, and She-Ra.
I got something to do with Arlington. Okay, I don't know why that's relevant, but the top trending one from our side is our Minister of Home Affairs, Malusi Gigaba, has resigned.
Now what does this mean for you guys?
Well, potentially, if they get the correct guy in place, we might actually be able to find out how and why this guy fast-tracked the Gupta family to become naturalized citizens, which would normally take 4 years, but he fast-tracked their records in like 2 months. To which they then proceeded to start helping former President Jacob Zuma loot the country of billions of rands. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So what? That's just insane.
No, people don't believe me. I have numerous times on Twitter back when I was still doing politics. Just as a quick aside back to that, but then I'll leave it alone. I have numerous times made the comparison that Hillary Clinton is a white female version of Jacob Zuma.
Wow.
The only difference is she didn't get elected.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Anyway,
well, Hillary Clinton did get elected to the Senate, if that says anything about New York.
No, but she didn't in Arkansas.
But fuck New York. Because they just elected a communist, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a crypto Marxist, maybe.
Well,
communist by extension.
Well, it was a scholar stupid, since she said some things that are just not offensive, but it's extremely stupid.
Merlin said, "Yes, really says loot the country." Sounds like another elected official we're dealing with within the states.
Yeah, I don't know, but let's take a look here.
No comment on who he's referring to, but
every Detroit mayor.
Yeah, but back to comics. I'm looking at a very nice piece done, just tweeted out by Rags about of Stan Lee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Link that to the folks in the chat so they can see it as well. I would, but I don't have a range.
You'd have to be made a moderator, and this is Dan's channel. I don't want to step on his toes. I mean, he'd probably be okay with it, but it's not an authority. It's not an authority I want to assume.
Nope.
No.
Just because I respect Dan too much. All right, I'll open it up.
Well, in other news, New Zealand has just taken the crown away from our good friends over in Florida.
Really?
Oh boy.
New Zealand newspaper confuses Stan Lee with Spike Lee in obituary.
Ha! Oh my God! It's a shame I don't have Sam or Dinte on this. They'd be having a field day with something like that.
It's kind of like how MSNBC mistook Neil Armstrong for another Armstrong.
There you go. Just linked it for you.
Oh boy.
Marlon says, I respect Dan too much. We ought to start a club. We kind of already have one, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do. I think it was Louis Armstrong that they mistook for Neil Armstrong.
Okay, like New Zealand, I can get, sort of, but freaking MSNBC.
And a guy like Neil Armstrong, who was the first man on the moon.
Yeah, dude, it's like I said, I can kind of see how New Zealand would. I can kind of see how MSNBC will. Yeah, I can see how New Zealand would mistake Stan Lee for Spike Lee. Like I said, kind of because, well,
Same
I
initials.
mean, sure. Say what?
Same initials.
Yeah, and like it's New Zealand. I mean, like, do you really think? I mean, sure, Stanley's a household name like everywhere, but do you really think that? I mean, do you really think like the media out in New Zealand really cares about who he is?
Probably not.
Bro, I'm gonna take $50 to say no, Alex.
No, of course not.
And I probably screwed that up.
Yeah, it's 500, but you more or less get the idea. But you more or less get the idea. Yeah, yeah. The New Zealand media doesn't care who Stan Lee is.
No, I don't think unless they're trying to virtual signal towards comics fans.
Which would make no sense.
Oh, I just saw it happen with the New York Post.
Oh yeah, like in. Oh please. Wait, you sure you're thinking of the New York Post, not the New York Times?
No, it's the New York Post. They were complaining about how this radio host said that he didn't care about Stanley because he's never heard of him. I mean, yeah, it's a douchebag thing to say, but it's not worth an article.
You're not kidding.
You're gonna like that one I just linked, Brett.
Oh boy.
No, this is actually good.
Oh. Likely Maeve.
If you're talking about the Ori fan, I already saw it on my timeline.
Called
Yeah.
it.
Oh, obviously.
I watch my Twitter like a hawk, even when I'm on the clock.
Yeah, I've noticed.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I haven't gotten in trouble for it.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Well,
because
here's the question. Is
Yep.
your work up to date?
What do you mean by that?
When you're at work, when you keep watching Twitter the whole time and everything, do you have any sort of issues with getting your work done? Normally, I found that if that's not a problem, managers and supervisors usually would not have an issue.
Let's just say Let's just say I'm careful about that. I'm careful about not getting caught. Because like I have one of those jobs where you're not supposed to be on your phone, but if I can grab a free moment and I got nobody watching, like my supervisor or a manager, yeah. No, I try to be sneaky about it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh well.
Honestly,
Shit happens, I suppose.
I'm gonna sit watching Twitter like a hawk. Sweet rhyme, watching Twitter like a hawk, even when I'm on the clock. Wow, that actually did rhyme. I did not know that. I did not realize that.
Well, I wouldn't tell you to quit your day job to become a poet.
yeah.
I'm not even gonna quit my day job to become a full-time comic writer
But why?
because comics are not a stable career option.
Unless you've got Sane doing PR. In this case, he's good at wrecking plans.
Okay, even with Shane running PR for me and Brian, I still wouldn't. Like,
Well, it's not a stable career if you stay on in that one small area. that you're in, and you don't seem like you have any interest in moving it beyond Changeling. So, yeah, I'd have to
I might
say,
have. Well, I might have more books. I might have more books beyond Changeling, but yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't see myself playing. And like I said, I don't. I don't see myself ever doing this as a full-time career. Just like this is something. This is always going to be something I will do on the side that'll make me extra cash.
I have a question.
yes.
Whoever decided that moist should become a word in common usage?
I could look up for you. Find out. Trace the etymology.
Nah, I wouldn't expect that too much. But it's just it sometimes just looks a little bit creepy when somebody just randomly adds a person on your fucking timeline, add person name, then fucking moist smiley face emoji.
Okay,
Really?
I found it. It traces its routes from a couple. It's apparently the late Middle English version is a combination of an Old French word and an English word. The English one is must. Old French is muste, which traces it.
I get what the original word means, but the way it's being used currently.
Yeah, I think he means he's talking about who's using it in the wrong way.
Context.
Okay, then I guarantee this is something that started with a.
Probably on 4chan.
There's Leonore.
Hey.
Yeah, we're gonna have her up on the stream later in the evening, when she gets off work.
So we've got an evening stream.
Yeah, we're sort of trying it out.
Yeah. What time?
6 p.m.
Okay, so be about 9 p.m. for me.
Yeah. Yeah, how you doing, Leonore?
Very fucking early for me in the morning.
Yeah. Dude, you do not have to show if you are not feeling it.
Yeah.
Now, something I was gonna say is like this May fan art I got by Ori that is going down with the painting Leonore made as one of my faves.
Huh.
I freaking mark out for Ori's work.
Well, the only fan art I can say that I like for mine is Avid and Killboxes because they're the only ones. But Avid managed to do something cool with that sculpture of the Lexington.
Yeah, well, I think what you should be doing there, Matt, is you should really be capitalizing on all the new art and stuff you got and start retweeting that out a little bit with all the new followers you got, with all the artists. You might just score some new fan art again.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a balancing act, though.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I found out how long it'll be before Michael's done with the 2 pieces, which will be about next week.
Yeah.
So I think with the new art pieces that I have, I'm going to do that for a Mythoverse first, and then with the King Chronicles about when Michael gets those pieces done.
Yeah, too cool. I'm just sorry, I was not a little bit there, but yeah, that guy's talented. I'm just looking for his Deviant Art again. I lost the link.
Well, I think
Yep.
you should DM it to him, Matt.
Yep.
But yeah, and then like Matt, you told me that you think Changeling can succeed just based on all the fan art I've got.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got.
I've got a veritable gallery on the Discord for it all.
Yeah, Brett. If it's anything that all these Comicsgate Comicsgate affiliated crowdfundings have taught me, it's that it's not about how many people you have that'll make you money. It's about how passionate they are for your work.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because if you are getting fan art, that means people are passionate about your project, and that
'Cause-
means
yeah.
people will be
Yeah, think
more than
about it.
willing to donate.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point. You know what? Because like, think about it. How much fan art does Jawbreakers have? How much fan art does Cyberfrog have? How much
That's-
fan art
but
does Graveyard
this-
Shift have?
This is where the difference comes in. They don't share their fan art. Look at the more successful guys, especially the guys from AP. You had the guys from Punchline who specifically requested fan art be sent to them so that they can showcase it in a special fan art section in their trade.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck.
You have Rags that constantly, if the fan art's good enough, they actually give variant covers to their artists.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. Look at all the look. Cody's
You've got Jack
got a fan,
Irons.
Cody's got a
You've
fan
got-
art, got a gallery of his own for Jack Irons. Yeah.
And he constantly tweets it out using Crowdfire. Doesn't matter if you get fan art or not. It is if you actually use it, if you showcase it, if you constantly, every now and again, retweet it to show people that, listen, these are people that supported my project by creating fan art. They took their time out of something else they could have created, and they created something from my book, my story, my characters, and look at this great stuff. That is the difference. It's not if you are getting fan art, it is how you are treating the people making it. You are actually showing them that you appreciate their work.
No, definitely. I'll be right back for a second.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Merlin, to clarify, am aware of Rags, meant to offer it as a suggestion. You're awesome. Just checking chat here quickly because we've got to
Guys,
down
I just I just delivered a scalding hot take to one Mindy Wheeler, who,
Oh, let's take a look.
but it's not so much directed at her. It's in the Slack, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Ah, well, it's not playing for teams. I mean, but you'd literally just pretty much nuked a certain guy that believes in your project as well. Because remember, we know a guy that pretty much believes in one team, and that's his own team. Yeah. No, I just saw something else.
Is this anyone I know by name? Oh.
Just the person that's been dominating the conversation in Slack for the whole day, pretty much.
Yeah, well. Things are awkward between me and that person anyway. Yeah. Leanne just said she had to calibrate headphones so she can hear properly at work. Man, I gotta know what kind of job you have that you can actually listen to us talk.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. What's going on here? Oh boy.
What's up?
I think I should just mute this conversation. Because one guy is going at another guy, and it is just back and forth the whole time. One guy's presenting evidence, and the other guy's just constantly. Ugh.
I'm an IT nerd at a university. At least that's a real job compared to what I have.
Brett, you have work. You are getting paid. It is a job.
I did not consider minimum wage at retail a real job.
Okay, well, you could be working minimum wage in a call center.
That sounds like my own personal version of hell.
That is literal hell. I've seen guys who work there. They suffer their existences off, take tongue lashings and swearings from people who will never even met in their lives, and they collect minimum wage, like absolute borderline criminally minimum wage.
Yeah, you know what? The worst thing I have to deal with at work is that on occasion I have to, well, frequently I have to listen to. I used to be retail is actual hell. I used to be the customer service manager at a major craft supplier. Holidays are actual hell. Yeah, I worked Black Friday. Hey, Leonore, I know it. But yeah, the worst thing I have to deal with there's like several things about my job that really suck. Like frequently in the background, I gotta listen to some kid screaming their lungs out.
No, my worst part was,
and some of it makes. Sometimes I unironically think that there are parents who should muzzle their kids.
Or alternatively, teach them manners. But
well,
besides the point.
Some of them are really young.
Yep.
So I mean, like if they're babies or toddlers, I'm more forgiving. They don't know better. It's at a certain point, it's like at a certain point, you just don't want to have to listen to what sounds like a miniature ring wraith.
That doesn't bother me at all. The thing that really got to me was when I worked my previous job, 24-hour control room at Armed Response. Or even this current company, when I also worked shifts when they were short-staffed. The one thing that I will always remember is I phoned up a lady for a battery disconnect, 2:00 in the morning, as I'm supposed to. She straight up tunes me. Listen, I don't like the fact that you're calling me at 2 in the morning. You have a disturbed psychological need to phone people at 2 a.m.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And like I said,
but
I was gonna.
You want to hear the funny story?
Oh, please.
Because she constantly shits on me for this. Next thing that happened, they actually did steal the battery.
Wow.
Okay, I was gonna say the only other part about my job that really sucks is that on occasion I will have to deal with a customer that's ornery, and if they're not happy, they'll threaten to report me to my manager.
Yeah, that sucks. But like I said, so she shats all over me, didn't go check on her car, or at least, get the security to check the car, and lo and behold, the battery was stolen. Yeah, that's what you get. Don't shit on people phoning you, especially if it's their job.
Nope. They always bite you in the ass.
Yep. No, trust me, I've been on the receiving end of some very, very interesting and nasty phone calls. The one guy we actually pulled the recordings in the space of a 3-minute phone call. He dropped 80 F-bombs.
Okay, here's something Leonore just said. After closing on Christmas Eve, I had a woman threaten to have me fired for not letting her into the store and opening the registers to sell a red glitter. Demanded to speak to the manager, and nothing is a greater feeling than saying, "I am the manager."
Oh God.
I'm actually trying to work my way up into management. I'm lucky my boss actually wants to promote me.
Well, keep at it. You'll get there. But yeah, so that was like still, 3-minute phone call, 180 seconds, 80 F-bombs.
You actually counted all of 80.
We pulled the recording and went and counted.
Wow.
It was pretty rough. I mean, you take a phone call, a guy starts going off on you like that. It's like, really? Is this really necessary? No, it's one of those where you hear the phone call and you just put the receiver down off to the side. I mean, you can just, because this guy's so loud, you can just hear him going off. Eventually, he got tired and cut the call. But yeah, that's probably the worst I've had.
That's amazing. People are really fucking serious about their glitter, dude.
You said ask about their fast food.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sure you. I used to work Burger King. I used to work night shift at Burger King, and I could tell you stories. Although I'm certain you've got worse ones.
Well, recently the worst has been this lady complaining about how, according to her, it should only take 10 seconds to make a hamburger during a rush. And we've got those kiosks where you take it at the same time, as well as Uber Eats now, and the app, and drive-through. So, yeah, it's not gonna take 10 seconds to when everything's all piled up.
That sounds rough.
Yep. They also got a company who thinks that you can do the same quality of work with a higher rate of customers.
Yeah, maybe in La La Land.
No, they want it. No, they're always trying to find a way. They're always trying to find ways to cut corners.
Hey, Matthew Reese is in the chat.
Hey, Matt.
Hi, Matthew. Good morning, you scabby SOBs.
Well, good evening from our side of the world.
You know, the thing I have to say about fast food is that at least it's not as bad on Black Friday.
Where I work, because I'm in retail, and I'm part of the team that unloads the trucks. We've been prepping for Black Friday, which is, let's see,
Yeah.
oh,
One of the funny calls
oh my,
that I can remember was back when I was working on response control room. That's also a different kind of. So you know how you talk to people, they always have the same responses over the phone. They're constantly the same. If you phone the same place over and over, you start to realize that these people have a specific speech pattern, and then it's much easier to pick up if something's wrong. So we phoned the one bar in. I'm not even going to pronounce the name for you guys because you're probably going to not even understand it. But it's a Sutu name, Southern Sutu name for one of the places close to Harry Smith. Anyways, the pub's name was If Tomorrow Comes. Now, the manageress that we used to phone up, she always just kept saying, yes, 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 just the whole way. But so you knew that's how she speaks. The one day, however, we phone her up the one evening and she starts carrying on. She starts talking tall tales. Now, after speaking to her enough times to know how she responds, you pick up, no, there's something wrong here. So we dispatched the reaction, and lo and behold, they actually tried to rob they were actually in the process of holding up the bar.
Wow.
damn.
Yeah. So all because how she started speaking was different from how her normal responses are when you would normally phone.
Yeah. Wow.
No, she escaped unscathed because they used the BB gun. Yes, that was an actual thing.
Fucking hell.
I believe it.
A friend of mine who's a Greek Orthodox. He said Black Friday is truly black because it's the worship of the market demon. And the only thing I could say in response to him was, "You're not wrong. This day brings out the worst in people."
I can understand why we've only started having Black Friday being done this side of the world now for the past 2 years, and yeah, it gets pretty bad.
Dude, there are horror stories about people getting stomped to death stateside
Yep.
out here in Black Friday, during Black Friday out here. Like, I think there's one story out in New York. It was at a Walmart. And there was a lady who was like trampled to death during a Black Friday sale. I worked with someone who actually, I think, saw someone get knifed during a Black Friday sale.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't have that yet, but we did have a few stores that ended up getting robbed because they stayed open longer than their usual business hours.
Okay, here's a funny thing. I always assumed that it was called Black Friday because it was just awful to work. Turns out it's called Black Friday because it's like the last chance for a whole business year that a business has to get out of the red and into the black, as in make up any lost sales they've got.
Oh, that's kind of funny because based on the description I read, it is the first Friday of the year that they actually are in the black. You know, they broke even finally.
Well, then I heard wrong.
Like I said, it's one of those things that the description differs.
Who knows? Matthew says, I just avoid Black Friday until after dark. Everything dies down after sundown. Of course it does.
Not this side of the world, because most of the people work very stringent hours and companies here are pretty shitty. So a lot of businesses now.
Bless you.
Okay,
Thanks.
those are my ears.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
No
So yeah,
control
the
over that,
thing is,
man.
Oh no, I can feel coughs coming on, so I mute before I do that. So, but yeah, like I was saying, so the one store remained open until 11 at night. Normally stores here close at 7 at the latest in the malls. The only places we have that remain open after 24 hours are convenience stores at petrol stations, fuel stations, service stations, whatever the hell you guys call them that side. That's pretty much it. And 24-hour drive-thrus.
Yeah.
Which, incidentally, is also some of the most dangerous places to work.
Jeez.
Oh, because they're open 24 hours a day, any random criminal can just waltz on through.
Yeah, that's the problem that this chain Meyer had back in the 90s when they were one of the few that were open 24 hours.
Yeah, but that's funny things. But yeah, so wait a minute. The US is a 24-hour world, even in the sticks. I can believe that.
I can't, on the one hand, I like capitalism because I'm all about, hey, make your money and keep what you earn. I'm all for that, and I can't fault companies for deciding to go 24 hours. It makes them more money. I can't. But at the same time, it's like, guys, you got to know when enough is enough.
Yeah, that's true. I've worked now enough late night shifts and everything to realize that if it's ever up to me, I will never work those hours ever again. I like to sleep at night.
Me too. I did that. I worked night shift at Burger King for 3 years, and I will never go back to that.
Well, if the choice is up to you.
It's actually pretty funny. I used to get in trouble for getting overtime because they'd schedule me 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. shifts 5 days a week. And overtime is anything past 40 hours.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing 9 hours a day. Well, more like 10 hours because the morning shift would go, oh no, you can't go anywhere yet. Something's not done for us because we can't do anything on our own. So I'd get about 50 hours a week, 10 hours of overtime. Oh man,
that's funny. I'm just to get back to comics quickly as well. Any interesting projects you guys are looking forward to or currently running on Indiegogo? You want to give a shout out quickly?
About the only one I'm hyped for. The only one I'm really hyped for right now is like Samurai Raccoon, just because I really dug the Usagi Yojimbo comics, and that looks like it's made in the same vein. So that's one I'm kind of excited for. I want to see Sporkman succeed because we're buds with Chuck.
Yeah, that will succeed eventually. I'm just quickly looking at the chat again. Matthew Reese said, I'm places that are willing to sell me stuff when I am up. I can suppose it would be a beneficial thing to you.
Good for you, but yeah, just like no thanks. Like I'm not going. I don't want to go back to that, but yeah. I'd say Little Girl Lethal, but it seems like that's doing okay. In fact, doing better than okay.
That's succeeded. That's fully funded.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, nothing to say about Little Girl Lethal. Then I guess about the only things I've got off the top of my head. Then, there's Leonore actually has a project of her own that she's gonna plug on the stream later tonight.
Yeah. Now, for me, projects that I would like to just give a few shout outs to is obviously Bruce Putnord's The Wreck and James Dean Anderson's Conflict.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it's flying under the radar, but it looks so cool.
Yeah, I think he said it was going to be. I think he described it to me as like. I might be getting this wrong. I think because I'm probably remembering it wrong, but my brain is remembering something like Battle Royale with monsters.
Battle Royale with vampires and werewolves.
That's cool.
That is.
I love that movie.
I'll link it quickly so that the guys with the chat powers can link it for everybody else.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let me see if I can. Let me plug my mouse in first.
And the other one.
All right, pulling up the chat, and I'll go in.
And another one's also doing well, which looks also good, but that one's pretty much going to get funded, no problem. Is Andrew Huerta's Sovereign?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that he doesn't. That one has nothing to worry about, dude.
Yeah, but still, it's a cool looking project.
Move from fetus to infinite is now keeping up on toddler. Yeah, that's her book.
Cool.
I gotta admit, Troll Smasher sounds like a cool title.
Yeah, it does sound very cool. I must give it props for that.
Sovereign does look. You know, did anyone ever catch on that Andrew Huerta's art style for Sovereign is very similar to those to the animation from what was it? Those Fatal Fury movies from back in the 90s.
Yes.
You get
such a cool style.
You actually are old enough to remember that from that take.
It was on Sci-Fi Channel.
Actually, of course you are. Of course, you're old enough to remember those movies.
I was born in '85, so obviously I'm old enough. The 90s was my time, and I fucking missed the 90s.
Yeah. So yeah, stupid question.
So I'd have to say keep an eye on the next by Andrew Anderson.
There's something about the director for those movies, Masami Obari. I mean, the guy.
Thanks.
Like, did you guys ever see any of the other stuff he did? Like, he did like an OVA for Voltage Fighter Go Kaiser. And he also may or may not have worked on a couple hentai titles.
Did my mic drop?
Briefly.
Yeah, for a sec. Leonora says, yes, gave me a Fist of the North Star vibes too. I guess maybe, but honestly, there's more of a Masami Obari influence just by the way it looks. Because it's just so exaggerated and hyper stylized.
And that's what makes it look so cool. And I think that is why one of the reasons. Speaking of which, I want to see how far it's along on funding. Because I believe he's also one of the pros.
No, it
It should
definitely
be
helps.
funded by now. It should be funded by now.
Yeah.
If it's not, I'll be shocked. But the reason is I don't paint them all the pros with the same brush, because you have the ones that are decent.
Yeah, the ones that are
you
legit.
know. Yeah. So I can't really fault him, because Andrew has actually been quite, decent to people talking to him. He and Mr. Marvel had a great conversation between the differences of being tattoo artists and comic book artists at the same time.
Yeah,
Holy shit, it's not even fully funded yet. It's got 5% to go out of a 12,000 goal, but still, I would have guessed it would have been funded by now.
I guess they'll probably make it up by the end of December.
It's got a month left, but still, I'm completely weirded out the fact that it's not done yet.
Well, Unranked
Honestly,
Chevron
it looks cool.
Yeah, Unranked Chevron, though, he did have a really good video on this, that all these Comicscape projects, they had a diminishing return on investment. I'm probably using the wrong term, but that's the only thing I had that came to,
Yeah.
you saw the numbers go down and down with each one he looked through. Like, he started with Jawbreakers, which had, does anyone remember, a rough idea of how much Jawbreakers pulled in?
About
Yeah,
400K.
I remember that, but now also what you have to take into account that Chevron did not look at, how many followers did Richard already have ready to go? By the time Jawbreakers dropped, he already had 70,000 subscribers and many more, and just nearly as many followers on Twitter for that. So he already had a large established base ready to go. Slick Jimmy for Little Girl Lethal, he started September last year already promoting Little Girl Lethal, and 12 days in, he's fully funded. So it's
Yep.
Yeah, but still, he did. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
there's
I'll give you
diminishing
that
returns,
much.
but I don't think Chevron looked at all the angles and all the information, because the information points to it. Your success will be guaranteed depending on how early you start promoting before you actually launch, and how big your established fan base is by the time the product goes live.
Okay, I'll give you that, but he also did point out how there were diminishing investments on Cyberfrog and Graveyard Shift, both of which were done by John Malin and Ethan Van Sciver, who, next to Richard, were the two biggest names in the CG camp.
Yes, but John Malin did not build an audience first. Take a look at his Twitter timeline. He's not been very active on Twitter. Take a look at his YouTube channel. That's not very active either. He does the occasional live stream. So where is he building his fan base? Having a big name alone is also not a guarantee for success. Mike Miller, Lone Star, same story. He started building fan base first, then announced this project, then it got funded. And of all the big pros that reached six figures, he took the longest as well. Incidentally, why? Because he didn't. What's the one thing he did not partake in that most of the other pros did?
He didn't do the whole own the opposite camp shtick.
Yes, he focused on one thing. He focused on his book. So slower to the end, but he got there. And that, at the end of the day, I think is what's going to, if there's some sort of crash coming, of the big names, the big pros, he's probably going to be the one to survive.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
can see it.
situation that Jawbreakers did not have so much competition. There's a market glut going on as well. Not untrue.
No, that's also true. There's a massive, because the Indiegogo is completely oversaturated at this point in time. The other thing that also takes away from Indiegogo are the insane goals that people start out with.
Yeah, it's like, which I think we know. I think Matt, was it you or Tank that noticed on Kickstarter they were being run a lot more reasonably?
Yes, that is it was me. I was taking a look at the general run on projects on Kickstarter, and the goals there are very modest, $3,500, but those are run pretty much just to get the book printed and done and shipped. There's nothing fancy, no that can actually get funding first. But the downside is, obviously, it comes down to the one thing, the stupidity of internal politics, that a lot of people on Twitter at this point in time will not back any project on Kickstarter, mainly due to past tense nuttery at what they did with
Jim from Blue Mamba.
Jawbreakers.
And
Jim from Blue Mamba, but that wasn't Kickstarter. That was Facebook and Twitter that didn't air the ads he paid money for.
it doesn't take a genius to see why, though.
Yeah. Have you actually read it?
I have.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against Jim, but I can kind of see why.
Not even that. If you actually follow the story properly, you can see why. If you take away the obvious stuff that would trigger most people from the get-go, if you actually read the story and if you follow the narrative, then you would also see why that would get a few people triggered who look past the sexy time parts.
I'm just saying, like the parts where Clarissa was having sex
Where they
with
kiss.
was having sex with Echo. Well, kiss.
Yeah.
Having a naked shower.
Yes. The sexy time parts. I wasn't
Yeah,
trying
like
to make
that-
the
those
stream
by
R-rated.
I'm just saying, but those by themselves would do the job.
Yes, but he did
somehow
that,
I get the
and he did that on purpose. So here's how he explained it in the one stream. He literally did that on purpose because he went out of his way to craft a decent story that would be thought-provoking, but he also put in a lot of things that would trigger extremists from each camp.
Yeah, I know. He told me that when I had him on my podcast with Dean Tay, when we say, like, I think I was one of the first people that talked with him.
Yeah. So and I think he succeeded. It's such a good story, and I honestly hope that he could find a publisher with the balls to take his book.
That sucks for him. Matthew says it scares me a little bit as Ideal Comics gets ready to launch a crowdfund in February. I wouldn't even I would not even bother crowdfunding. Funny, I'd go just looking at how the Indiegogo, the crowdfunding market in general just got so crowded. Pun not intended.
Yeah.
I kind of elected to just sort of pay my team out of my own pocket, which I can do, and just build the Patreon as it goes. It'll be slower, but at least it'll get, but it's doable.
Yeah. On that, Matthew, I've been following your little back and forth with Macho Mang, or whatever the hell he wants to call himself, in my notifications today. It's quite enlightening how these guys keep running around and they want to cover up for a certain group. I don't want to call them out directly right now because this is not my stream, not my channel, so I don't really want to see them flag it down because they shit like that.
Yeah, let's not do that to Dan. He doesn't. I mean, God knows I've got it's bad enough that I had that sweater. Oh, Trent.
What happened?
Oh, Trent. I love you, Trent.
What happened?
He RT'd Ari's fan art and he said, "Make that sweater real." I think knowing Trent, he wants one in his daughter's size.
More than likely.
Probably. That
Yeah.
would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like he did buy one of the shirts for his daughter. It's the one with Josh's pony, version of Maeve. And he said he's gonna even buy more merchandise for her.
Huh.
And he had the best line for it. "Make changeling happen because my daughter can't wear rag swag."
Gee.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Wow. That hurt. What? Why can't she wear the Twitter Titans Regina?
Maybe but it's just that, it's rags, and I think his daughter's like under 10 isn't even 10 years old.
Yeah, that would be awkward to explain if somebody sees it and they come across the daughter and yeah. That awkward moment.
Yeah, even if it's something as like innocent as the Teen Titans Go version of Regina, it's just like, yeah, not something you can give a little girl.
Well, it's not a comic you'd let a little girl read.
No,
I mean the Teen Titans Go version of Rags is something that you could have her wear, but
then you have to
don't want her
explain
reading
it.
Yeah. That actually reminds me, funny story. You guys remember when District 9 came out, the movie?
The what?
Yep.
District 9?
Oh, District 9, yeah. I still have the DVD.
Yeah.
I heard some people say like that thing was like, it was about as blatant an apartheid allegory as you could get.
It was, but it was still funny. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I grew up in the waning years, so I'm not too fazed about it. The thing I like about it, what was actually something that happened in the cinema when I went to watch it. So the one part, what was it? 10-year-old kid sitting there, and you had Sholto Copley's character, Fana Merva, go there, like, fucking prawn, and the kid pops up there. Dad, what's a fucking prawn? Why the fuck did you bring your kid into an R-rated film? Are you
I don't
insane?
know. My dad took me to Passion of the Christ when I was 12 years old.
I think there is a difference between that, being that one
Really?
is one's more religious based, and I think that some people are okay with violence in religion films as long as it gets the point across.
A 12-year-old me had to watch a graphic depiction of Jesus Christ getting whipped with a cat of nine tails and then nailed to the cross.
That's just to get across the pain and suffering he went through for our sins. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh well.
District 9 was more of a violence because violence.
Well, there was a point to it, kind of.
Which movie are you talking about now? Hello?
What?
For violence, for the sake of violence, it's more of District 9.
I don't see it. I think District 9 had a point with its violence. I mean, like, well.
Oh, you mean to the point where the Nigerian government wanted it banned?
Well, it's Nigeria.
No. Do you know why they wanted it banned?
Okay, why?
Because they did not like the depiction of how Nigerians were portrayed in the movie, except that is exactly how they act when you walk through the streets in Johannesburg and you come across Nigerian gangs. They will literally try to kill you if you cannot give them what they want. They are literally that violent. And because it hits a little bit too close to home for them, they wanted the film banned.
Kind of. Same reason for the last Rambo movie, and I
Was banned in Malaysia, yeah.
Okay, let me put it this way. I mean, like, I get. Okay, I mean, I'm only. It's not that I disagree with you necessarily, though, Matt. It's just more I'm playing devil's advocate.
well, yeah, and
Because, like
well, yeah, I'm also doing the same thing with explaining the side that sees Jesus being the brutal violence against Jesus being more of showing what he did for us rather than in their mindset the violence.
No, still me like what the story District 9 was trying to tell, though. I mean, you would expect some violence. I mean, do you think that movie would have worked as well if the violence had been toned down?
Probably not.
I guess that's the question you have to ask. Would the story that both movies were trying to tell have worked had the violence been toned down?
By the same extension, would Deadpool have worked?
Probably not. I mean, like, you kind of need Deadpool to be foul-mouthed and sort of hyper-violent, but the difference is, I mean, like, Deadpool is so violent, like, Deadpool's violence becomes so over the top that it becomes comical. Which is
the point.
Yeah.
Which is the point, because you have all these movies taking themselves so seriously, and I think that's the other reason why it was so successful once again, because Deadpool came across as a refreshing breath of air in a genre of films that has started, like all the superhero films that preceded it, taking themselves too seriously. And I would relate that as the main failing of every single DC movie. They take themselves too seriously. There's not enough humor.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
they tried putting some humor into Justice League and it didn't work.
Well, it's Joss humor.
Because it's already so overblown, overly grim dark, no humor will work. They literally looked like they wanted to take the DC universe and transplant it into 40K.
Oh.
Well, the difference is 40K is comical by accident.
But it works. Because they don't make it, but they don't try to hide or play. They just play it straight, which is why it works. This is our setting. It is comically over-violent. Let's run with it. So they took that flag and they're running with it 2 hands all the way to the finish line.
It works because, like, okay, I mean, like, it works because it's not self-aware. How do I put it?
No, it is self-aware. They fully know what they are on about.
Okay, I mean, the creator, Games Workshop is aware of what they're doing. Yeah, it's the universe is not. Because Deadpool, part of what makes Deadpool work is he's self-aware.
Yes, but that's the point. These are 2 differences and extremes on how it is. They tried to make it seem all serious and broody and everything, but they couldn't decide how far they wanted to go down the beaten path, to the point where they got to the point where they beat the whole universe, DC universe, so badly that it is just depressing. There's nothing to even make it comical or funny. It's just bad.
Yeah, true.
The thing about the DCEU, they did it all wrong. They, instead of doing the whole angle where it was,
and Matthew's leaving. Bye, Matthew.
Bye, Matthew.
Goodbye, Matthew.
Instead of doing this whole convoluted philosophy disagreement between Batman and Superman, which they're both hypocrites for, they just made Superman continue to make him to be the Boy Scout of the universe, make his movie all about happiness and sunshine, while keeping Batman dark and brooding, and take those those moods and have them conflict with each other over that, rather than, oh, hey, power. You have more power. You shouldn't do what. You must be evil for having that kind of power.
But see, that's where the difference comes in. It comes down to the writers, and I don't think that any of the writers currently in Hollywood could
They could have just done.
mouth fail.
You know what? DC doesn't really have an excuse for being this bad with their film universe because they had a successful model to work off of, the DC animated universe.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I don't think they wanted to go down that route.
All they had to do was literally just copy everything Bruce Timm did with that and transplant it into live action. It would have worked.
Unfortunately, DC is with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has this model going where they have a.
They were with Warner Brothers when Bruce Timm.
Hold on. But basically, how Warner Brothers works is that they have two branches. You have one for features and one for TV, and they compete with one another like a dysfunctional family. So if one side is doing something, the other side won't do it. So they'll do something else.
And that actually ties into everything they do with their TV series and everything over on the CW. I mean, in the CW, they pretty much teased that they would have a Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn, and a few others. And then the higher ups at Warner Brothers pretty much shot that whole entire idea down because they had the Suicide Squad movie coming out.
Yeah, but again, I'm just saying DC was with Warner Brothers when Bruce Timm was running the ship.
Yeah, but
Yes.
like I said, they're two different branches, and they're ran by two different people. They don't have a unified system like, say, Paramount or Disney.
But that said, though, even with that differing structure, their animated films are still leaps and bounds ahead of anything Marvel has put out.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying though. I mean, like, if I had been, okay, let me put it this way: if I had been in charge of the DCEU, I would have said, "Hey, you remember that animated universe that Bruce Timm made? Why don't we just copy that?"
And again,
Because that would make sense.
and again, that's same reason why Warner Brothers would never do a Babylon 5 movie, because he signed for a TV series with Warner's TV. He owns the rights to the films, and Warner's film will never do a Babylon 5 film because it's based on one of Warner TV's shows.
Makes no sense. This is so it's all in fucking. It's all fucking legal bullshit.
Not even legal bullshit. This is just bullshit. End of story.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. They're the same company, so there's no legal reason why they can't do it. It's just that they won't do it because they're saying, this our guys do it, so we have to do it differently.
It doesn't have to be different, just has to be good.
But
That's all people were asking.
Sadly,
Yes,
egos
but
are.
okay.
These are egos that we're dealing with.
It seems like we may have another contender to try and do a Maeve fan art later.
Like,
Not gonna lie, not that I don't appreciate all the fan art. I just wish some of it was translated into Patreon dollars.
well, I think
Start tweeting it out. Do
I
a
did.
crowd fire. No, honestly, copy Cody's model. Copy that. Run with that. It's going to work.
also continuous updates on Patreon. If you don't have anything to say it, because I'm pretty sure that's how I got Brian to go on my Patreon to give me money.
Well, I am gonna. Well, here's what I am gonna try something to try something with when Victor gets the next page inked. I'm gonna lock it behind Patreon. It's gonna be available to a couple different tiers, and then I'm gonna have a colored version that Ginger will do be made available to higher tiers.
Exactly. So the whole thing about it is, even if it's just a progress update on anything, it doesn't even necessarily have to have anything substantial to it, just provided you are giving an actual update showing that the project is not dead, that it's moving forward. Even if it's just a wall of text explaining what you are doing. An update is an update. Or at least that's how I see it.
Oh, I agree. That's basically why I'm taking all my old stuff that I had before, which I've got a huge archive of, and I'm putting up in updates.
Not bad.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. My roommate came in for a sec. I had to.
Oh, no
No
problem.
problem. But yeah, so basically, like we were saying, just even if it's just an update, the progress update, you know, it's just like a status report, just checking in, letting people know this is how far you are with a script, this is how far you are with planning, you know, just anything to show that there's life on the project and you aren't just spending your time throwing around bants on Twitter.
I mean, if anything, I've been spending more time I'm posting into different art threads just to get the word out.
You know, maybe have public posts where you post fan art on your Patreon.
Oh, that's at least something. I mean, like I was gonna say, because I remembered I do have the Discord put behind the paywall, so you know what? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's not really going to help too much. I mean,
no, I mean,
yeah,
like
so,
that. No, I mean that's
these
a good.
are
I mean,
ideas.
that's not a bad idea, actually. I was saying I agree with you guys.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm just throwing out ideas. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
Well, I want-
honestly, the Patreon game. Honestly, this Patreon game is really something for me, just because like I'm a guy who doesn't like to say stuff if he doesn't have anything to say.
yeah, but that's unfortunately the way that this is going to help you grow your Patreon.
yeah. It's gonna.
See,
It's gonna. Fine.
You have to look at it as a business. You have to be prepared to put the work in. A lot of time, a business will require lip service more than having an actual substantial update to actually give. Basically, your Patreons are your shareholders, your investors, and you need to keep them happy. And if you are not providing them with, you know, said lip service, this is our plan, this is where we are going, this is what we are doing, this is what we've accomplished, you're not going to engender any sort of confidence in what you're trying to do. I know it's a shitty analogy, but that's the best one I got.
You're probably not wrong, but it's just like, you know, it's just like I am a guy who hates small talk.
Yes, but sadly.
It's like oh my god, when I hear small talk, it's like, oh my god, I don't care. Just tell me the stuff I need to know.
Yeah, small talk, political talk, all that shit. Trust me, I know how you feel, but you are in a position where you're actually going to have to, unfortunately, do it.
Oh boy.
I mean, look at Drags. Honestly, look at Drags. Look what they're doing. Look at the amount of updates they put out. They've got a Patreon update that they post over on Twitter nearly every day. And a lot of it seems to be just, like I said, just, you know, an update as to the direction of the project and where they are. Not even sometimes anything substantial like an art piece or a page or anything. Just literal, this is what we are doing. This is what's going on, you know? Letting people know, keeping people informed. It doesn't even have to be small talk. But literally anything related to what you are doing and how far you are along will be good news at the end of the day. So think it over, but you're going to have to start trying to do that.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I know you're not wrong, and it's just more a mentality I sort of have to get out. I have to get into, just because I am not used to being the guy who parses out small talk. Like I said, I like to be succinct and to the point.
Yes.
I think that's my problem as well at times. So I know where you're coming from, Brett.
Yeah.
I think the only reason, if I didn't have anything to put up on the Patreon, I'd probably be sitting at $0 and next to no updates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much something else.
Oh my god, I forgot I was still subbed to the Game of Thrones channel.
Yeah, you might want to cancel that. So yeah, the whole thing is you take that, and then because you've got a goal that you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a set goal that you want to achieve.
Whoa! Nearly fell out of my seat.
Kick Brett.
Yes, kick Brett.
Oh, come on! come on. I am much more charming than that little puke.
No, not Nasser. V.
No.
Remember when he got kicked out of his chair while talking to Medicare?
You said, okay, well, it's just when you say kick Brett, you can...
Look, kick V was cooler than kick Nasser, so...
Not to be fair, they're both...
So, like I was saying, you have a goal, right, to get your Patreon to the level where you can afford to get Ginger own equipment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's your goal. How do you achieve that?
That point taken.
Exactly. And that's just step one.
If there's anything that I've learned from you, Brett, is that when you got your mindset to it, you do it.
Yeah.
So go forth and conquer.
So basically, just you're making it sound like you might as well just be updating like anything like on the daily,
provided it's relevant.
Yeah.
It has to be. It doesn't need to necessarily have to be, substantial, but it needs to be relevant. Not just random small talk. It has to be something that, say you achieved something with the script, say you achieved something with an art piece that's coming along nicely, even if you're just sharing roughs, just rough line work or something like that.
Yeah,
that's already something.
Well, it probably would give me an excuse to start polishing the third script, which I've kind of neglected just because I wanted to focus on. I also wanted to focus on my werewolf series, which I still want to finish. And oh boy, I'm actually at the point where I'm seriously considering if I'm going to get that done, I'm going to need someone else to edit those videos because I ain't got the time. I don't think I'm going to have the time for them anymore if I'm going to be devoting. If I want to make the book a success.
It's all about sacrifices and stuff you're going to have to cut out.
That's here's where it sucks about those, though. Here's why that's a problem. Those videos made my channel.
Yes, that's the hallmark of your channel. So you might have to look at something else you're going to have to snip somewhere. Doesn't necessarily have to be something major, but you're going to have to do a SWOT analysis at the end of the day.
I know.
To be honest, Brett, you've got your 3 issues in scripts, and you're just only starting to get the pages done. I think you're safe. I think you've got enough time to do the editing for the video, and you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Which is also true.
I guess. It's just like
time management, buddy. That's all you're gonna have to look at.
Yeah, it's just might be something. This is probably something I picked up from my mom because when I got like a ton of stuff, I've sort of got like a tendency to imagine the worst case scenario.
Well, it's not always a bad thing to try and look at that, but look at that as completely at the last point.
Yeah, it'll probably be. Right now, Changeling is moving at such a slow pace that you're probably not going to have a worry about finding too much time for your other projects. You've pretty much gotten a pretty big backlog on your scripts, so you'll have more than enough time for making videos.
All I'm gonna say is that this probably would have been a lot easier if I hadn't had that built in originally.
Oh well, shit happens.
Yep.
They're just gonna have to learn to live with it,
I guess so.
or find a way to get yourself free from your little issue.
Yeah, I guess I should only really consider having to farm the workout for those videos if the book grows to the point that it's going to demand that much of my attention.
Oh yeah. Who knows? Maybe write some stories, changing stories that involve what you're working on.
Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Why not?
That's
You could have maybe a fan of playing an unidentified werewolf game after, or you could just have her be introduced to it by Jenny, and they have a weekly get together with friends.
that's even more LARPy than what I do already. Oh my god, man.
Well, it may be LARPy, but it's not cringe LARPy.
Yeah, it's not those guys.
No, it's just that, I don't know if you guys ever watched that. I've also got the weekly game session that I do with my group.
Well, apparently it's a popular series to do. You've got all these big studios who are doing D&D sessions now.
D&D are for scrubs.
What?
That is one. Yeah, that is one thing I definitely cannot snip, just because I've already got a built-in commitment with those guys, and I do not want to welch, and I can't and won't welch on that.
Nope.
Yeah. Guys, I'm gonna drop off here because my throat's getting pretty scratchy, and I think it's time I actually need to
get some sleep, man. Get some sleep.
Yeah, we'll chat again at a later stage. Thanks, guys.
Get some rest, and I don't know, might get some tea or something for something that's a little easy on your throat.
I've got water. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
See ya, man. Yeah, it's just, if I actually look, I know, thinking about what Tank said, doing a SWOT analysis, if I look at it all, I have the podcast, I have the stream, I have the session, and I have the videos along with the book. The book, I can take it easy on, sure, but all that other stuff, and considering all that is done on a weekly basis. Oh, and there's also the bi-weekly podcast we do with Wakehead. I'm just doing, and that's not counting the full-time job. I'm very close to being overworked. Like, maybe I should consider farming out the werewolf videos.
How many titles per month?
Just the editing. I mean, like doing the research, writing the script, recording the stuff that I can do. It's the editing is the most time-consuming part of those videos.
Oh yeah. I know that you can definitely do the scripts since you've got a lot of them, a
Well,
lot
no,
of pages written up.
well, there's a well. Okay, let me put it this way. There's a difference between writing writing the comic scripts from whole cloth and having to go through one of the supplements for Werewolf and taking notes and then making that somehow make sense.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's a different. It's a slightly different breed of animal. But honestly, yeah, the scripts, doing the scripts and research, that's not the hard part. It's just, no, wouldn't even say it's hard. It's not. It's not the part that's the most demanding. It's the editing that is.
Yeah,
Because those videos, yeah, especially considering those videos have an established style to them. So yeah, I might actually say I might as well probably put out a call for someone to do the editing, just so it takes some of the work, just so it takes a load off of me.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty time consuming. I've been working on editing myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been trying to bring up some ideas on YouTube videos that I can do to help with promotion of McKinnon Chronicles and Mythics and the Mythoverse. I figure with McKinnon Chronicles, I could probably get away with streaming some gaming with space engineers in Homeworld, while talking about how certain aspects of the game in McKinnon Chronicles,
Mhm.
as well as some science-based videos on what kind of science to expect in the series. And with Mythics, I could probably do something along the lines of the basis of a mythology that that series has, and where it fits in with the larger mythoverse.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's actually not a bad. That is not a bad idea. Although if you are going to have those, if those are going to require editing, like,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever watched any of my videos, Matt, but I mean, like, would it be like as, say, I don't want to say complex, just more as, I guess I could say my editing style is very image heavy on make my points, and also driving humor, driving humor.
I'm pretty sure the stuff that I'm gonna be doing on mythology will probably need me to search for images to use, see what can be used and what can't be used.
I guess the better question I should have asked was, would they be as image heavy as, say, mine? Because let me put it this way: if you watched a Razorfist video, I more or less copied that editing style.
Probably.
You probably could. I don't know. I mean, like, if you probably could get away with some lighter editing.
Perhaps.
The only snag in that is whether or not you can, whether or not you can hold people's attention. And not that you'd seem to have a problem with that, I guess. I mean, you hold my attention pretty well.
Well, whether or not it happens, definitely going to happen simply because you need to grow a YouTube presence.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely going to be needed, and at least good thing I did was putting up that introduction video on my channel, because now at least I have I can sort of bring in some of my built-in audience over to that.
Yeah, and I am doing something with Mechanic Chronicles with involving Edison's voice work, which will be basically making a motion comic from it and putting it on YouTube, which should be pretty interesting since I don't think anyone's really done it before.
Not that I could. I'd bring up Rob Link Productions, but it's probably not the same thing. It's probably a little bit different.
Probably. I think those actually have animation.
No, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time for us.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. Yeah, I guess it's definitely gonna. I did put up an update videos telling people that there are definitely going to be some changes with the channel, and things are not going to run like they used to.
No,
used to be there was a point where I could knock out 2 of those videos within a month.
Wow. And
now I feel like I'm lucky if I can get one done within a month.
Yeah, because you're doing so much more now than you used to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's maddening, to say the least. Yeah.
There's not going to be a whole lot of time for either of us when it comes to doing comics and work and all that. Because I'm surprised that we're doing 2 streams on Tuesday.
Well, it just so happens the planets align for us that way.
Yep. And I know that Mike Whitaker would like to join us at sometimes.
That'd be fun.
And I've talked to Sean Campbell about it. He's up for it for later streams.
Yeah. And we got Leonor coming on later tonight.
Yep. So it's gonna be fun. In fact, this could be our fun stuff that we do. Which shows us how sad our lives are now that we're busy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably end up like Brian, just figuring this shit out as we go.
Yep. And then Insane screws everything up by exploding us.
Oh God. It's like, oh man, this is hold up, this is just cool. Do you follow Edwin Wong on Twitter?
No.
He's a cool artist. And he just dropped this really cool fucking art, and you should follow him.
He's Asian.
You said it like you're obligated to. That's like saying I'm obligated to follow Liz because I'm Irish.
You there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you cut out.
Yeah. You following Edwin Wong because he's Asian is like me and I'm obligated to follow Liz Finnegan because I'm Irish. Yeah.
So I think it's cutting out because we're talking about something about race.
Whatever, did you see it?
Yeah. Looks awesome.
That is pretty cool. Like Yu Yu Hakusho done like a Gorillaz album.
Yep. It's just, oh boy, this has been a wild weekend, hasn't it?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, you are not wrong about that, man.
You there?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's just
Okay.
I guess it's best out again. It's just like, but yeah, you're not wrong that this weekend has been wild. I mean, we basically saw Comicsgate just fucking hit the ground around Hindenburg style, and now Stan Lee is dead, and honestly, honestly, I picked up like a whole bunch of followers, and a couple that I'm very happy I got. Not gonna reveal their names though. No, these two I'm keeping under wraps. Although, if you just looked at my followers, you'll probably figure it out anyway. Matt, you sound quiet now. Matt! Matt! Talk to me, Matt. I don't want to be. Don't maybe break out the Red Man voice because I'm not Tonka Saw. I'll break out the Irishman voice. Talk to me, you fucking idiot. Why are you bloody talking to me? I'm pretty sure it sounds awful. And Matt got dropped. Browser crashed. Oh. Then I guess I'll just try to keep it at. Then I guess I'll try to keep it going until you get back in, if and when at all. And if it doesn't look like you are, I will just call it. I will just call the stream done. Be back up. All right, good. Yeah. Still though, I will say, amazing how well you can. I would say respond to all those art threads though, as much of a pain as it turned into. I'm actually kind of glad I did it because gets me more followers on Twitter, and it gets the word out more on my project. There, you're back. Good. Gets me more followers on Twitter, and I'm hearing my voice on your end.
Yep, I had to bring it up on my phone to send you to give you the message. By the way, check the chat sometime.
Our chat or the YouTube chat?
YouTube chat.
I've been watching it, and like, is there anything I'm supposed to be looking for, more specifically?
No, it was when I got dropped.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh boy, I just saw a retweet that was just plain cancer.
Do I want to know?
So you know, Psychology Nerd.
Yeah, I know her. She's cool. I want her on the stream at some point.
Yeah, well, it was retweeted that she told some SJWs to get rid of her of their hate, and the response to her was that she needs to stop ruining comics and video games and anything else that he calls SJWs taking over, and that he'll never stop hating her because she's worked to earn that hate.
I'm confused. What?
Basically, overall hatred from SJW.
She tells the psychology
She
nerd
tells
tell. Okay, let me see if I got this. Psychology nerd tells SJWs to get rid of their hate. SJWs tell psychology nerd she something hate. I didn't.
Basically, they tell her to stop ruining stuff and that they'll always hate her. Or by her, everyone who tells them to stop being babies.
Of course they are.
Oh boy, that's just. And Canals responds with, "You're really fucked in the head. You have Canals' sympathy."
That's Spanish wit.
Yep. I'm surprised he doesn't have the guy who told her that he hates her doesn't have a blue check mark yet.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, they'll just give them to random SJWs.
You know what? I'd probably make a lot. I was thinking I'd probably make a lot of money. I would probably make a lot of money off making Maeve's hoodie for sale.
Oh yeah, especially with all the fathers of daughters out there.
Yeah. And of course, there'd be all the cosplayers.
That too.
I get the feeling Zale and Richard would not dig Maeve's look just because it's for lack of a better word, cosplayable.
There's a lot of snobby cosplayers out there.
No, I mean that's something he's been criticizing. Like he's been criticizing modern modern superhero costumes for is that they're made to be cosplayable.
Oh yeah.
Which is not wrong about.
No, but I think a lot of the thing about cosplayable costumes is that you can do them right and you can do them wrong. Marvel's doing them wrong because they're just too simple. When you look at a show like RWBY, which was done with cosplayers in mind, it was to be complex and beautiful.
Whereas at least what Marvel's doing is just stuff that's just so simple it would take barely any effort at all.
Pretty much. I think that's because for them, they think that cosplayers are people who have no money, or they don't have, or they have a similar passion for cosplay as they do for comics. And by they, for comics, I mean Marvel passion for comics because they have no passion.
Yeah, so I mean, sure, Maeve has a simple look, but here's the thing. It's simple but striking.
And honestly, I think the biggest thing for Maeve is that she also has that. She also needs context and.
Well, let me put it this way. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but still, I mean, like, well, still, I mean, her eyes are very atypical.
Yeah.
I mean, let me put it this way: just slapping on red contact lenses is not gonna cut it for her. Like, you have to find some way to make your because the red isn't her pupils; it's the sclera. That's the white part of your eye.
Yeah. Yep. And something that makes your eye Maeve's look work better is that's how she dresses normally. With Marvel's modern superheroes, that's not how what they wear normally. That's their superhero costume. That's what they designed for themselves.
That's the best they could come up with?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, for example, you look at the Kate Bishop Hawkeye. If
Like
you look
Kate
at
Bishop actually has it. Kate Bishop actually used to have a good costume at one point.
yeah, and then you look at what the big costume change for the new Hawkeye series, and it's no,
Uh,
no, that's not good.
It's like they were trying to. It was like they were trying to copy the Jeremy Renner costume, but they did it lazily.
Pretty much. Her original costume was more of a callback for Mockingbird in some ways.
Like it was kind of like a blend of Mockingbird and Hawkeye.
Yeah. And she actually had a good personality back then too.
Yeah.
She wasn't a sarcastic bitch. She was uncertain of herself.
Although to be fair, I don't think that we needed sexual assault in her background.
No.
Like, and I got raped going through Central Park once, and I didn't want to be weak anymore. You could have said she got mugged going through Central Park, and that would have worked just as well, and she would have been, and it would have been better actually.
You know, that's the thing about the original Young Avengers is that at least when they did their soapbox, it wasn't in service of the soapbox. It was just something about that was brought once as a part of the character.
Yeah.
Granted, what happened to her was not good for a younger audience.
No, like I said, just you could have. Like I said, I mean, honestly, you could have just gone with her getting mugged. It would have worked better because here's the thing. Have you ever been mugged before, Matt?
No.
Well, I haven't either, but having someone hold you at gunpoint or knife point and demand that you hand over any valuables you're carrying or they will kill you. That will scare the living daylights out of anybody.
Oh yeah.
And especially for a kid and for someone Kate's age, that's even scarier. And just being able to, and of course, like her first instinct would be I better do what he says as if I want to live.
Oh yeah, I think
and she could still have the same takeaway from that.
Yeah, and also being from a rich family, she'd be an easy target.
Yeah. They couldn't have had her gotten mugged, and that could have been her whole motivation.
They can't do anything simple anymore.
Fucking hell. It's like freaking hell, man. Just
honestly, though, I have to say that the original Kate Bishop was probably
was a better character. I'm not gonna argue that.
And then you had, and butchering her character even more was Kieran Gillen, who decided, hey, you know what's the best way of opening the new version of the New Avengers? I'm opening up with Kate Bishop getting out of bed with Marvel Boy. Because hey, if her superhero name is Hawkeye, she has to be just like Clint Barton.
You know what? By the time Clint took the Hawkeye name back, that's when Kate should have gone out and unformed her own identity.
Yeah, but
it's honestly like Kate Bishop Hawkeye and Clint Barton Hawkeye. It's not only is it like confusing as fuck, it's just like it kind of shows like how little faith they have in having Kate made by her own.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think the original way they were going to go with Clint being a mentor to Kate was interesting. We've never.
Well, okay, yeah, that I'm okay with. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's just that Kate should not have been carrying the Hawkeye name at that point.
Well, you know, Clint Barton idolizes Captain America, so he'll basically he'll basically do what the same thing that Steve Rogers had done, and let her keep the name because it's a legacy kind of thing. So
yeah, but even then, it's not like we don't have there's a reason we don't have 4 Robins.
well, all at the same time.
Yeah, if we got them all at once, you got Dick, who is Nightwing. He is Dick, not Rick. You got Jason, who's the new Red Hood. You got Tim has the worst one though, Red Robin.
Yeah.
And then you got Damian, who's the new Robin. But the point is, they all have distinct identities.
Yep. I mean, it would have been interesting to see the 2 Hawkeyes if Kate had kept her original personality, and Hawkeye wasn't changed, and Clint wasn't changed into this beta cuck.
Okay, yeah. It's still just like. I think what was that Hawkeye series by who was it? Matt Fraction?
Yep.
That was actually pretty good initially.
Yeah, it started off good. Oh boy, that take it downward spiral. Well, I think that's because Fraction was getting bored. I remember it being irregular in release dates. They couldn't keep up with the deadlines.
Really?
Yeah. It was always late. I think that was about same time that Fraction was moving on to Image to do his own creator owned stuff like Sex Criminals and Odyssey.
The latter sounds like a garbage fire. I'm trying to hope that the former sounds like a garbage fire. I'm trying to hope that the latter has some redeeming qualities.
The latter is a gender swapped science fiction version of the Odyssey.
That could be good. That could be bad. But knowing Image, I'm not hedging my bets.
Let's just say that because, for woke reasons, Odysseus was gender swapped. His wife wasn't.
Okay, so they're both garbage fires.
Yeah, from the looks of it.
You get bored with Hawkeye, and so you move on to make Bolt. So you go on to make one that sounds like a garbage fire just by saying its name out loud, and one that's a garbage fire when you read it.
Fear itself was pretty good. He wrote that. I mean, there's nothing that grabs your attention more than Captain America holding up Thor's hammer as Nazi bots are invading, and then you have Cap yelling, "Avengers Assemble!"
Yeah.
Which is why I really don't think Hydra Cap ever worked at all, because Mjolnir would have seen it.
That was never gonna work.
Nope.
It just flies in the face of everything Captain America stands for.
Yeah, the Rush storyline. What the people who are writing modern Marvel don't seem to understand is that they're writing icons. They're not writing creator-owned characters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Rhett, what'd you find? Rhett.
What are you talking about?
What did you find?
I didn't find. What are you talking about? I didn't find anything.
What did you
I didn't find anything, Matt.
What did you find? Oh,
Okay, you got me. It's a cat gif. All right.
Okay. Honestly, though, every time I hear you go silent, I hear keyboard going, like you tapping on a keyboard, and it's just okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I am bad at multitasking.
I could tell.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that. But yeah, HydroCap, like that was an idea that was doomed from the start. That's something that only works in an alternate universe.
Which they are incapable of considering.
It's like, just how fucking retarded do you have to be? You want to do the HydroCap? You could have just done it. You could have done an alternate universe story with that angle. That would have been okay.
They cannot because it's all about. I think Nick Spencer wanted to be the woke guy and make
Make a woke comic that doesn't fuck with established continuity. How hard is that to do?
But they wanted Steve Rogers bad, Falcon good.
And Red Skull equals Donald Trump.
Yep. I just can't see why they can't have, both Captain Americas be good. It doesn't have to be a race war kind of thing. It doesn't.
You could do all that in an alternate universe comic. The only difference is, oh, I know why they didn't do it, because that doesn't get reactions. It's like, oh, it's an alternate universe. I don't have to pay attention.
That's more likely that. But you have these two who have been friends for decades.
Well, dude, that's the whole reason. I mean, like, if that had been an alternate universe story, it probably would have been just as bad, but no one would have really cared because it wouldn't have mattered.
Thinking about it now, it probably would have been a better story if they went over the betrayal, emotions of betrayal, like normal people.
I guess.
But they just couldn't. They just had to have this
shocking moment.
Yep.
Guess what? That only works in pro wrestling.
I feel like these pro wrestling, and that's the only story they know.
Yeah, well, then again, you got all this shit where, like, you're the hero of your own story.
Yep.
Which is about as postmodern an idea as I've ever heard. Okay, you know what? For some positivity, here's something. Killbox just asked me, "Hey, dude, do you prefer old school comics shading or grayscale manga style?" I'm leaning have more of a grayscale manga style, considering the aesthetic that Changeling has established.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I can has manga, please. Yeah.
This is gonna be. Let's just go ahead and agree that when we do the Mythoverse, we're not going to have these shocking moments just to be shocking.
Or if not, it's not. They're at least going to be built up.
Yep.
Like, I mean, fuck, I've got a bombshell in Changeling that you know about, Tank knows about, Dan knows about,
Oh
and
yeah.
and Brian knows about it too, because I had to tell him for specific reasons.
If you didn't tell Brian, I would be extremely shocked.
Well, I put it I kind of had to let him in on it because because at this point Regina is going to be in the book, so yeah. let's just say his response to what I was asking him as real. I will tell you when we end the stream. And how about we just end it right here and just say, yeah, Mythoverse is not going to have shocking moments for the sake of having shocking moments. They're going to be properly built up.
That sounds good, especially when we're going on for about 2 hours now.
Yep. And killing the feed now.